the sun's going down, no stars in the sky. I'ma head down the road, across county line, where they roll up the smoke, they pour beer and wine, and hearts break on the jukebox, where the neon stars shine, where the neon stars shine, and the whiskey flow in the dark of the night, so nobody knows. We're hanging on a memory, we're hung out to dry, just doing our time, where the neon stars shine. Well, the folks gathered around, they all look the same.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's me again, Craig, the travel zombie. And it's been a little while, hasn't it? Been a couple of weeks since we've been able to get together and go out exploring. Well, that changes today. We're here at City of Mesa Cemetery, and we're here to visit one of the last true outlaws of country music, Waylon Jennings himself. My name is Craig, I am the travel zombie, and welcome to Prime Time. So the good news about finding Waylon Jennings' grave is that it's actually really easy. The last couple of graves that we've done for Eddie Guerrero and superstar Billy Graham, I actually showed you guys how to find them. And I'm going to do the same thing here, but not like I did there. There I had to give you the directions from the very entrance to the cemetery all the way to their headstones. Here, you can actually just input the words, "The grave of Waylon Jennings," into Google Maps, and it'll pop right up. And then from there, you just do this. We're gonna walk straight this way, and you're gonna look for that shiny headstone right there in front of us with the American flag. And there he is, the highwayman himself, Waylon Jennings. Waylon Arnold Jennings was born on June 15th, 1937 near Littlefield, Texas, to his parents William Albert Jennings and Lorene B. Jennings. They lived on a farm that the father also worked on. Waylon's exposure at an early age to agricultural labor and the working class existence became kind of a hallmark of who he ended up becoming as an adult and the themes of his music. The family, they relocated to Littlefield, where his father operated a produce store and continued his life of self-reliance and hard work, which again became a hallmark of Waylon's beliefs and his way of life and even his music. Music entered Waylon's life at an early age. His mom bought him his first guitar when he was only 8 years old, and he ended up becoming a disc jockey at a local radio station when he was only 12 years old, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Waylon had learned to play the guitar before he was even 10 years old. And funny thing, he was actually kicked out of music class for being inept at music, which is insane to think for somebody who became such a foundational part of country music as a whole, that would ever be said about him, because he's influenced so many artists. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to include some quotes towards the end of the video about Waylon's influence. But yeah, so the message that you should take away from that is if anybody ever tells you you're not good enough, don't listen to them. Just keep going. Keep going, keep doing what you're doing. You'll get there. Waylon first started performing publicly for other people at family gatherings and quickly moved on to JCs and youth centers and the Lions Club. And eventually by the age of 12 had actually gotten himself a 30-minute radio program on a local radio station called KVOW, which is unheard of. Imagine being 12 years old and having your own radio show already. Waylon would get fired by KVOW before starting as a disc jockey at KLLL in Lubbock, Texas, where he would end up meeting probably his biggest musical influence, Buddy Holly, who would become a mentor to Waylon. He bought him clothes and helped him revamp his look. He even produced Waylon's first track, which was called Joel Blonde. The mentorship deepened when Holly hired Jennings to play bass for his band, the Crickets, on the ill-fated Winter Dance Party tour in late 1958 and early 1959. A tragedy would unfold on February 3rd, 1959 that would change Waylon Jennings' life forever, when the plane carrying Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Waylon Jennings' musical influence, Buddy Holly, crashed and killed all three men. Jennings famously gave up his seat on the plane to the Big Bopper, a decision that left him with an unbelievable amount of survivor's guilt that would plague him for a very, very long time. After a 2-year period of mourning, in 1960, Waylon Jennings moved to Phoenix, Arizona, where he formed a rockabilly band called the Wailers that gained a local following through performances at clubs like JD's, eventually signing with the independent label Trend in 1961, though their singles did not have any kind of significant impact. Jennings also broadened his experience by working as a record producer for audio recorders. The loud life of Waylon Jennings would sadly come to an end on February 13th, 2002, at the age of 64. He died quietly in his sleep at his home in Chandler, Arizona, a quiet end to a life lived loudly. The cause of Waylon's passing was from complications from a long battle with diabetes. He had grappled with it for years, a chronic illness that severely impacted his later life. Just months before his death in October 2001, he received probably the biggest honor that any country music star can experience, being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. 2 months later, in December 2001, he underwent the amputation of his left foot due to diabetes complications. You really can't deny, with all that he went through, especially later in life, dying so soon after reaching the pinnacle of country music, that Waylon Jennings was a fighter to the very end. And you can't talk about Waylon Jennings and the long and fruitful life that he lived without mentioning Jessie Coulter, his wife, who helped him overcome his addiction and lead a loving, fulfilled life until the day that he died. It would be remiss of me to talk about Waylon Jennings and not acknowledge the perceived animosity between him and my favorite artist of all time, Garth Brooks. There's a quote out there that's floating around that's attributed to Waylon, where he said, allegedly, Garth Brooks did for country music what pantyhose did to finger effing. But when you look, There's actually no concrete evidence that Waylon Jennings ever said that or that he was the originator of the quote. It's just an urban myth that people want to believe. It became convenient, albeit crude, shorthand for the perceived dilution of traditional country by pop influences. It symbolizes the clash between outlaw ethos of raw authenticity and artistic control of somebody like Waylon or Willie or Johnny Cash, George Jones, what have you, and the rise of a more commercially polished mass appeal sound of Garth Brooks. The quote's popularity reflects the strong emotional investment fans have in defining true country. The quote gained significant traction after a fictitious story by Ethan Hawke in 2003, though its first documented print source appeared in 2005, preceding an interview with Waylon's son, Shooter Jennings. Interestingly, the quote has also been attributed to other prominent artists like Willie Nelson, David Allan Coe, and Chris Christopherson, further underscoring its mythical nature. Waylon's son, Shooter Jennings, has since offered a more nuanced perspective on Garth Brooks, stating, "Garth Brooks is as country as..." Back then, it was like, what the F is going on? This guy is terrible. This isn't country music. I would take that any day now. This evolving viewpoint from someone so close to Waylon suggests a changing perspective over time, perhaps influenced by the subsequent shifts in the genre. The feud between Waylon and Garth has been well documented and talked about, and it is clear that Waylon's dislike for Garth was very real. This animosity appears to have intensified as Waylon's career was hitting a sharp decline, coinciding with Garth's meteoric rise. Garth Brooks himself addressed the perceived animosity, stating that he never met Mr. Jennings and that Waylon targeted him. Brooks views himself as having been a non-traditionalist then, but notes that now everyone looks at him like, your stuff is as country as it gets. He interpreted Waylon's comments as addressing the different sound in country music and the changing of the guard, stating he never took it personally and that he holds nothing but respect for Mr. Jennings. Chris Stapleton once said of Waylon Jennings, "In a lot of what I do, there's a lot of honesty in Waylon Jennings' music. What you got on a recording was pretty much what you were going to hear when you went to watch him play." Toby Keith once said of Waylon Jennings, "There is no one person I can think of I like or respected more than Waylon Jennings." Alan Jackson once said of Waylon Jennings, I think Waylon Jennings said, "What the hell is a Chattahoochee?" Miranda Lambert once said of Waylon Jennings, "Willie and Waylon are the reason that we need to keep that going. This music influenced all genres of music." Eric Church on genre evolution and Waylon Jennings. "If we're making the same music as Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and Hank Williams, why not just listen to that? They didn't do the music before them. They completely changed." And with that, our time together today has sadly come to an end yet again. I know, sad zombie noises as always, right? Well, good news. I am actually going out to shoot another video for you all today, right after I leave the cemetery here. So, if you enjoyed what you just watched, go back and watch our videos from the graves of Eddie Guerrero and superstar Billy Graham. I'm very, very proud of those. I'll put them on the end screen right here too. And if you enjoyed it, also be sure to hit that like button, hit that share button, and especially hit that subscribe button. And with that, I must bid you all adieu and say goodbye and good night.